One thing, and one thing alone, keeps Gotham from drowning in a sea of corruption and despair. It is a grim face cloaked as much in mystery as he is in shadows. Like a bat, he dives out of the night to feed on Gotham's evil. To some, he is merely a legend. To others, he is a dedicated, driven avenger. And to criminals, he is their worst nightmare. He is Batman. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are celebrating Batman Day and talking about arguably the best Batman ever put to screen. That's right, I'm talking about the 1992 series Batman the Animated Series by Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, and Mitch Bryan. We'll talk about what made the show so good, how it was constructed, and how this Batman was made different from past incarnations, and why this show's Batman was so memorable and so successful. The show largely started with the crew of the 1990 Steven Spielberg series Tiny Toons. After the first season of recording Tiny Toons, Warner Brothers was looking for properties to adapt, and one of the ones it was seriously considering was Batman, because of the success of the Tim Burton series. When Bruce Timm heard this idea, he was working on the first season and immediately spent time planning the Batman series. He then got together with a couple of other creators to pitch the idea for the show he wanted to do to Warner Brothers, and the rest is history. The Warner Brothers gave Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, and Brian Mitchell 65 episodes to make their series a reality. Since they were given such a long show, they wanted to know how to make it consistent, and so they set the groundwork in what is now called the Batman Writer's Bible, which was recently uncovered in 2009 and posted online. The Batman Writer's Bible is a series of guidelines for the writers of Batman the Animated Series. If you wanted to write for the show, these were the rules you had to consider and abide by, and this is what made the quality of the series so consistent over time. The Writer's Bible included the structure of the show, the characterization of Batman, his supporting characters, the look and feel of Gotham, the characterization of the villains, the concept art, and the colors for the characters. Since I want to try to get this video out by tomorrow, which is September 19th, I will only focus on the first two, which are the structure and the characterization of Batman and what made this Batman so unique. Now, the basic premise of the show is Gotham is a dangerous city, and the only thing that stands between Gotham and utter chaos is none other than the Batman. The general series concept was meant to be a darker Batman that would borrow from the existing mythology from comics, TV shows, as well as 1940s crime novels and film noir detective stories, and introduce what the series creator called a dark deco style for the city. In terms of how Batman operated, there were 4 rules. 1. Batman was a solo act. While he did receive help from Robin and Alfred, overall, he worked alone and he was on a solo crusade for justice. 2. He does not work for the police. He contacts the police when he needs their help, but they can't contact him. 3. Robin is no longer Batman's full-time partner. Robin in this version is a full-time student at Gotham University studying criminology and helps Batman from time to time when he needs it. And 4. The show is meant to be a hard-edged crime drama with villains who play for keeps and are willing to kill to get what they want. However, more than what the show did set forth, it also set specific rules of what it would not do. For example, it refused to do any type of origin story for the Batman, with the Writer's Bible saying, "We will do no stories about Batman's origin," and emphasizing, if you have any ideas to examine Batman's origins, scrap them. They've been done to death. Advice I really wish current writers for the Batman series took to heart. The structure of the show was a 3-act structure that would always lead to a climactic end in some battle at some large set piece or arena. The 3 acts would be Act 1. It would set up the mystery, the stakes, and introduce us to the characters that would be playing a key role in the plot. Act 2 would build up the tension and the suspense of the show, building up towards the climactic battle. This would include gathering clues, chasing down the villains, and Batman escaping some smaller difficulties as they built up for the ending. And Act 3 was the climax, where the epic battle and massive set piece would take place. And everything from Act 1 and Act 2 were meant to pay off in this third act. The writers were encouraged to make the set pieces loud and outlandish, and the Bible even saying, with our animated Batman, we can build gigantic sets and create special effects that have never been realized in live action. Use this to your advantage. The last element were the rules about humor. Batman's humor had to be dry because he was a very serious character. If Batman showed humor, it came of one of two ways. One, levity at difficult situations and a dry remark, or a dry remark at the outlandishness of the villains. But overall, Batman remained a stoic and serious presence. As for the villains, dark and clever humor was encouraged and welcomed, provided it came from the natural intelligence of the character and their personality. The writer's Bible specifically said the humor should realistically reflect the character's wit, not the writer's. And the last rule was that pop culture elements should be avoided. They wanted the series to hold up 10 to 20 years into the future. These rules did a great job in setting up how they wanted to deliver the stories and create limitations to not make the show too excessive. It was a formula that allowed for consistent storytelling such that the viewers knew what they were getting into and kept them coming back episode after episode and have a lot of fun watching them. Next, I will get into how they depicted Batman and what made this version of Batman special, and specifically the interesting take that they took on Bruce Wayne. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends, and also put a comment down below on your favorite Batman episode or Batman comic, and see if y'all have the same love for the Caped Crusader that I do. The Batman will be portrayed as Gotham City's grim avenger of evil, appearing only at night. He will use his sophisticated gadgetry, shrewd detective skills, and frightening image to combat Gotham's criminals. When designing Batman, they needed to consider how to make him unique and how to effectively characterize how he behaves in the story, so they came up with the following rules. 1. He would only speak in short, terse sentences and only speak when needed and no more. This helped create his serious facade and helped maintain the presence throughout the show. 2. The show would emphasize his detective skills over his advanced gadgets. Rather than showing his technology being the solution to every problem, the show emphasized his deductive skills, his logical reasoning, the scientific method, using the laboratory to come to solutions, and him puzzling over questions, as well as Batman being a master of disguise. 3. Whenever possible, they would put him in a situation where his tools couldn't save him, and he would have to think on his feet. 4. Fear is the Dark Knight's greatest weapon, so the writers and artists would do what they could to emphasize an almost superhuman image of Batman. And this was highlighted in series imagery and the criminal's dialogue. And 5. Lastly, the show would focus on the early years of Batman, when he didn't have the public trust, and only Commissioner Gordon realized the value of Batman being the series' guardian. One original element that the show introduced to the Batman mythos is the idea that Bruce Wayne is the alter ego and Batman is the one who is real. In the writer's Bible, they mentioned, one thing we want to stress and will make our series markedly different is the fact that Bruce Wayne is the disguise and Batman is the true persona. This is meant to be in contrast to Superman, where Clark Kent is the true persona and Superman is the disguise. Batman created the persona of Bruce Wayne to be an irresponsible playboy. This is why people look the other way when he's missing from meetings or missing from Wayne Tech in general. They just assume he's out partying. Batman put in such an effort in crafting Bruce Wayne's identity that all the charitable donations he puts forth, he does so under shell companies, so no one gets the idea that Bruce Wayne is secretly a playboy with a heart of gold. No, he is meant to be a symbol of elitism and everything that is wrong with Gotham. However, ultimately, this is how Batman is happiest, with the guidelines saying he is not a man haunted by the ongoing trauma of losing his parents. He has exorcised those ghosts by becoming Batman. Ultimately, he is more comfortable as Batman, And that is who our series is about. And with that, I wrap up the main things I wanted to talk. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to cover the other elements of the Batman Bible. But I wanted to do these parts because it's fascinating to me how the series structured itself and what made Batman so good. And to be honest, this is also me paying homage to one of my favorite heroes as a kid. Like any kid, Batman was the type of person I aspired to be like. Someone who never let the bizarre or dangerous get the best of him, and never let being intimidated or being scared stop him, and always acting with an unshakable sense of conviction of what was right. When you're a kid, the ability to handle anything, regardless of its difficulty, is something you aspire to do. That type of consistent inner strength is at its core why I look up to Batman like I do, and why I'm happy that he played such a big part of my childhood growing up. Thank you all for staying till the end. It really means a lot, and feel free to check out my other videos on this channel, including the butterfly video that I did last week, and let me know some other ideas you may have, and please leave a comment. It really helps this channel. Anyway, talk to you soon and have a wonderful day.